are there any potential areas of agreement at this point between Democrats and Republicans in what we are expecting, at least from the tax bill?
Well, it's really hard to say, because what they have done, and I would say I take slight exception to what your reporter just said about it being meticulously negotiated. My Lord, my fellow Republican members of the committee have been fed information with an eyedropper. They haven't seen a text, let alone ever have a hearing on this and involve people in the other party. This is absolutely the antithesis to what's necessary if you're going to do serious tax reform. They've given up on tax reform. They're now looking for the biggest tax cut that they can get, and they're all over the map. It's very uncertain that they're going to be able to pull this together, in part because they're not working together, let alone working with the Democrats and letting the American public know what's at stake.
Congressman, let me ask you about it's a basic question here, but what were you and your Democratic colleagues up to last night as all of this was being hammered out on Capitol Hill? Were you over at the Hawk and Dove having a Portland brew? Give us a sense of what you were doing as they were hammering this out last night.
Well, we were actually preparing to have a walkthrough of their bill, which was promised to be released on Halloween Eve, right after midnight. And of course, word came that that's fallen apart, and it's punted for at least a day. And they don't appear to be any closer in terms of being able to deal with these fundamental problems. They are completely abandoning the notion that this was going to be deficit neutral, that it would not add to the deficit. They're having this difficulty while they've already agreed that they're going to increase the deficit $1.5 trillion over the next 10 years, while cutting hundreds of millions of dollars from Medicare and Medicaid. This is going to be very difficult to pull together, and if the American public understands what they're doing, they're going to have the same result as they had with their ill-fated effort to deny people health care by repealing the Affordable Care Act.
If you were to see a version of the bill, and if you were to have these discussions with your colleagues who are writing the bill, what would you and your Democratic colleagues like to see in this bill? What would be your top priority?
Well, first and foremost, we would like to make sure that the benefits flow to middle and lower income Americans, increase earned income tax credit, be able to deal with things that will actually create jobs rather than adding to the deficit, in order to give the vast bulk of the benefit to large corporations and very wealthy individuals. That is what their own report shows, and ironically, their own survey research shows that's not even what Trump supporters want. They don't want to enrich corporations that are actually doing reasonably well and concentrate the benefits to the very top income earners. No matter how much they repeat that it's for middle income, it's not. The facts are clear, and we would rather deal with what they said they wanted but aren't putting in this package.